GTV9. This is First Alert Weather Now.
And hello and welcome to the Monday edition of First Alert Weather Now for the week. I'm meteorologist Corey Thompson.
And I'm meteorologist Hannah Messier. It's pretty warm out there, Corey.
Yeah, that's saying a lot because it certainly has been a warm weekend, and we're translating that into this week as well. And we'll break down when we may start to break that warm pattern down just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping for some more cooler weather. The 80s in September is not really my jam.
It does start to wear after a little bit, but we will have to get used to it, at least for now. We're also going to take a look at some weather history. There's actually a pretty significant tornado in this day in history, which is hard to believe for September.
I'm excited to learn about that.
And we will. We'll get to that in just a bit. But first, what you need to know as you head out this evening is fortunately just more of the same. So if you are tolerating this warm weather fine, you're going to like what you have this evening and over the next several days, as there will be little change, keeping temperatures above normal both day and night, and keeping things that way at least for a while. It's this weekend when we start to see more shower and storm chances get involved, and we start to feel a little bit different in terms of temperature as we head into the week following. We're going to keep things just a little bit cooler by then. But between now and then, we will stay warm. We're going to keep our temperatures with this warm air mass overhead just kind of consistent. Not big changes, occasional little differences day to day, but we're not going to see a big drastic drop anytime soon. That includes tonight. Our overnight lows pretty similar to what we felt last night under mostly clear skies. This evening, perfectly pleasant just to head out without much worry. Tomorrow morning, likewise. You probably don't have to worry about a jacket early unless you're especially sensitive to temperatures in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees.
I mean, temperatures in the 60s at night aren't bad. I think it's the humidity at night that kind of gets me, but I'm excited to see more of those 50s. 50s, I feel like you can open up the windows and let some cooler air in.
I think that's probably true. That stickiness this past couple days has really limited us from that for the last couple.
A little bit, but we'll miss the temperatures and humidity like this in a few months when we are in the 20s and it's snowing.
That's the truth. So you got to enjoy it while we have it. And there are plenty of things to enjoy this week around eastern Iowa too. Meteorologist, or rather Justin Roberts, has your forecast for fun.
Well, it's a brand new week, which means we've got a lot more forecast for fun. Let's start with those of you who are going to go out and about and do a little walk in the next few days. We'll be in the mid-80s for the majority of the week, mainly sunny sky tomorrow. Southeast winds at 5 to 15, mid to upper 80s Wednesday, Thursday. A hint of humidity in the air. Let's look long-term down the picture. You see some clouds back in the forecast for Friday. Our game of the week, Friday Night Lights. It's an Iowa City battle royale as City High travels to City West. Kickoff temperature upper 70s at that 7 o'clock time frame. A few clouds, fourth quarter down to 71. You can see that game on KCRG 9.2. Iowa Fall Festival continuous now all the way through the end of September. If you get out and about to Bloomsbury Farm in Atkins, you'll have some great weather Friday. Just a couple of stray showers Saturday and Sunday. But notice as that rain chance moves in, the temperatures move down. Low 80s Saturday and upper 70s for Sunday. Now, Saturday, you're going to go out and about to the farmers market. We sure hope you'll stop by our place. We're going to kick off our Coats for Kids campaign right up front at TV9 Saturday morning. The whole weather gang will be there, and we'd love to meet you and talk about how you can help make a difference in a kid's life by donating some cash or a gently used or brand new coat. Isolated showers through the late morning Saturday, and again 76 degrees. Our final graphic is kind of a preview for us. These are some of the games we'll be looking into as we head towards the middle and end of the week. I call your attention to kick off 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon in Ames as Arkansas comes to visit. Saturday evening, Iowa goes north to Minneapolis. And look at that. That is not a typo. Saturday night, 11 o'clock, you and I in Hawaii for a great late football game. That's just some of the fun that we'll be having this week in your forecast for fun. Of course, all the details on those forthcoming forecasts on our television platforms, of course, right here on Weather Now and at KCRG.com. Guys?
Now, your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Hannah Messier.
Even though it doesn't feel like it outside, the autumnal equinox is only 6 days away on this Sunday, September 22nd. Yeah, it's a pretty hot one out there today. We can see on the Marion City Cam the sun getting closer to the horizon. Temperatures still in the 80s though. 83 degrees in Cedar Rapids, 85 in Iowa City, and 83 in Marion. Dew points also kind of up there for the middle of September. Dew points in the upper 50s in Iowa City, but we're still at 62 in Cedar Rapids. Your first alert has all green boxes highlighted on it. We're not expecting any impacts within the next 24 hours. The clouds that we saw earlier today are moving to the east though. We have a bit more sunshine out there this evening, which is nice to see. Quiet conditions in the west, mainly because we have systems other places in the U.S., but the Midwest is pretty quiet, and it's going to be pretty quiet for the next several days. Overnight, we're looking at a mostly clear sky. Tuesday morning, waking up to some sunshine with winds coming out of the southeast. But as we head into Tuesday afternoon, a couple of clouds come in, but they won't inhibit the sunshine much for our Tuesday afternoon. Overnight, lows cooling into the 50s and 60s. 61 tonight in Fayette, 62 in Tama, and 59 in Washington with a mostly clear sky. In our zone cast for tomorrow, it'll be warm again. Temperatures in the mid-80s, 85 degrees in Dubuque, 85 in Dyersville. Off in our northwest zone, we're talking the mid to upper 80s. 88 degrees is expected in Waterloo. That is more than 10 degrees above normal. Normal high for our northwest zone, 77 degrees. Headed to our central zone, we're going to be in the mid to upper 80s. And the same story for our south zone, 86 tomorrow in North English and 87 in Iowa City with winds out of the southeast. The warm conditions are going to continue through the rest of the work week, not just for Tuesday. Thursday and Friday look like the warmest days of the week when highs could rise into the upper 80s. Dew points also a little bit high over the next couple of days. They'll be better than they were today and this weekend in the upper 50s for Tuesday and Wednesday, but they'll rise quickly back into the 60s Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. The increase in humidity in the weekend also indicating a chance for some scattered showers and storms. We have some chances for isolated to scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder for Saturday and Sunday. Right now, the better chance does appear to be on Sunday, but we are going to keep an eye on that for your weekend forecast. In the next few days, temperatures rising gradually. 86 degrees on Wednesday, 88 on Thursday, mostly sunny with overnight temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Friday staying dry, 87 degrees with some chances again for some isolated to scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder for Saturday into Sunday for the autumnal equinox. A lot happening this weekend. We've got our Coats for Kids campaign kicking off. We've got the fall equinox. Both of those exciting. Coats for Kids campaign is going to be fun this year, Corey.
Yeah, it really should be. It always is. I think we've got some neat things planned. I know last year, perhaps people remember that we sort of got pied in the face once we hit certain dollar amounts in terms of our campaign. This year, it's going to be a little bit different. So stay tuned for that. We'll have more details on that coming up.
Excited to hear them.
Yeah, and we do have details now on this day in weather history. It's your weather rewind for today. In fact, it is actually today that we're focusing on. September 17th, 1978. That's when severe thunderstorms moved through Iowa, and they actually produced quite a bit of severe weather along their path, including 3 tornadoes, other reports involving damaging wind and large hail. We saw multiple reports of, unfortunately, fatalities and injuries with this system, and that's really why this is kind of a memorable day in terms of weather history. Here's the path of an F3 tornado that took place on that day. It was on the ground for about 32 miles and at a path width of about 200 yards. So along its path, it caused that damage. 6 people were unfortunately killed, 45 people were hurt, and several businesses and vehicles near the Interstate 80 exit just south of Grinnell. This is where some of the worst damage happened, and some of those casualties took place too. So this is certainly a memorable one for those in that area. 2 were killed in a mobile home near the Laurel area, and 4 more near a gas station that was south of Grinnell. That tornado hit Laurel around 8:30 at night and Grinnell around 9:10. So yeah, an unusual time of day, unusual time of year. And unfortunately, there were no tornado watches or warnings issued with this activity either. We saw just a severe thunderstorm watch issued a couple hours ahead of time. We didn't have the type of technology to keep people safe at that time. There were 2 other F1 tornadoes in Mahaska County with this outbreak. Now, for the time of year, again, it certainly was not when you think of as tornado season in the state of Iowa. Most of our tornadoes happen in April, May, June, and July, in especially May and June. September only accounts for about 4% of tornadoes. You might expect a couple a year. Unfortunately, those couple this day in history really did cause that big impact. It's really not a common time of year for tornadoes anywhere in the United States, although they can happen east of the Rockies, but it certainly is less common than what we see during those spring and summer months. Now, even though 6 people were killed that day in tornadoes, this did not fall anywhere near the deadliest tornadoes in Iowa's history. The worst on record was in 1860, June 3rd, when 92 people were killed by a tornado, and then still dozens on these other incidents. But notice how most of them took place in the 19th century. Only one was in 1913, where 25 people were killed. The good news is that tornado spotting and technology to help keep you safe have gotten so much better. In fact, since 1979, so the year after this tornado took place, only 50 people have been killed by tornadoes in Iowa, which actually was lower than I expected when I went to look at that statistic. And the next time that we had a tornado that killed at least 6 people was Parkersburg in 2008. So there's a 30-year gap between those two incidences. Better education about what to do to stay safe, and technology has helped keep people safe, especially the advent of Doppler radar. And frankly, most tornadoes get warnings now. In the mid-1980s, about 60 to 70% of tornadoes that occurred had no tornado warning issued before they did, or at any time in their life cycle. So now that number has basically been cut in half. It's down closer to 30 to 35%. And even then, the most significant tornadoes just basically aren't missed really at this point, or hardly ever. So that is where we've been and where we've come. We've really improved things quite a bit during that time. So that's the good news there.
Yeah, that is really fascinating information. The fact that we've gotten so much better. Like 40, 50 years ago, we had no warnings for some tornadoes, but because of Doppler radar, because of our cell phones with all of the warning information we can get on weather apps like the KCRT TV9 First Alert weather app, it's really good to see that we've made so much progress.
Yeah, and the lead time in terms of when those warnings are issued and how much time you have to seek shelter has gotten better too, from just a handful of minutes back in the 1980s to, and on average, about 9 to 15 minutes, depends on the year, what our average is in the United States from the National Weather Service. So that helps, and that gives people enough time to stay safe.
It's important to remember events like what happened in Grinnell, though, to remind ourselves why it's important to take these tornado warnings seriously, why it's important to have your phone charged and ready to go. But luckily, we're not dealing with anything like that this week. Pretty quiet out there in eastern Iowa. If we take a peek at our 9-day forecast, we have lots of sunshine over the next couple of days. Tuesday looks great, and Tuesday actually we have a sporting event to look forward to. On Tuesday, the outdoor volleyball at Brown Field in Manchester. The WAC-MAC game will be on. Mount Vernon versus West Delaware. First serve is at 7 p.m. and that'll be live on KCRG 9.2. The forecast for it looks great, 71 degrees with a mostly sunny sky. Now Wednesday, we're focusing on our temperatures for Wednesday. Temperatures are going to rise into the mid-80s once again, and this is what it's going to feel like out there, the mid-80s. So unfortunately, still kind of a warm one on Wednesday. Looking ahead to Thursday, Thursday's dew points will be a little bit better than we saw today, but temperatures will still be higher on Thursday in the upper 80s. Dew points reaching the low 60s in the evening, but upper 50s and low 60s for dew points is really all we're going to get to on Thursday. For Friday, we have, of course, the forecast for Friday night lights. Looks pretty good this week, 76 degrees and partly cloudy with winds out of the east, 5 to 15. Perfect for our high school games. On Saturday, looking ahead to Saturday, of course, this weekend we are watching for that scattered shower and storm chance, both Saturday and Sunday, a little bit wet, but we actually do kind of need some rain. It's been pretty dry over the last several days here in eastern Iowa. Ahead to the autumnal equinox. Of course, the first day of fall is this Sunday. On the autumnal equinox, we're looking at 7:43 a.m. It's going to be the official time for the start of fall. And the autumnal equinox is when the sun's rays are directly over the equator. That means we get about 12 hours of daylight on the autumnal equinox. And then looking ahead to Monday, of course, seasonal temperatures after that system on the weekend, a little bit more mild in terms of temperatures on Monday, 78 degrees is expected. Then we say the 70s actually continue for next week. 76 degrees on Tuesday, 76 on Wednesday. Overnight temperatures cooling into the upper 50s next week as well. Corey, I think we need a time machine because I'm ready for fall.
It gets here no matter what you want to do about it. So it will get there. But for now, we're still dealing with those above normal temperatures. We'll see what the second half of September brings.
Yep, we'll keep our eyes on it.
Indeed. And we will be back here tomorrow night at this same time. We've got more breakdown of your weather conditions around eastern Iowa. We've got a little look into some of the whys of weather as well. And we thank you for joining us tonight. For meteorologist Hannah Messier, I'm meteorologist Corey Thompson. Enjoy the rest of your evening.